$539 million. That's not the price of a skyscraper. That's what Samsung paid Apple for copying the iPhone. The patent war that changed the tech industry forever. And the battle is still raging. Welcome to Patent Wars, where we expose the legal battles that shape our digital lives. Here's what happened when two tech giants went to war. In 2007, Apple released the iPhone. It changed everything. Touchscreen, apps, internet in your pocket. Steve Jobs called it magic, and he wanted to protect it. Apple filed hundreds of patents, design patents, utility patents, software patents. They built a legal fortress around their invention, and then they waited. Samsung was Apple's biggest supplier. They made chips, screens, components. They saw the iPhone's success, and they wanted a piece of it. In 2010, Samsung released the Galaxy S. It looked like an iPhone. It worked like an iPhone. It even had the same icons, the same bounce animation, the same pinch to zoom. Steve Jobs was furious. He called it a blatant ripoff. He told his biographer he'd spent his last dying breath destroying Android. And he sued. The trial began in 2012 in San Jose, California, 10 miles from Apple's headquarters. The jury was drawn from the community. Many worked in tech. Many owned Apple products. Apple's lawyers argued that Samsung had copied their designs, their user interface, their innovations. They showed side-by-side comparisons. iPhone versus Galaxy. The similarities were striking. Samsung's defense was that these were obvious features, natural evolution of technology. Everyone was doing it. Apple had copied others too. The jury disagreed. After 3 weeks of testimony, they ruled for Apple. $1 billion in damages, later reduced to $539 million. Still, one of the largest patent verdicts in history. But the war didn't end there. Samsung appealed. They fought in courts around the world. Germany, Australia, Japan, South Korea. Some courts ruled for Apple, some for Samsung. The battle became a global chess game. The case raised fundamental questions about innovation. What can you patent? A rectangle with rounded corners, the concept of swiping to unlock, the bounce of a scroll. Apple argued that these details mattered, that the user experience was their creation, their property, their right to protect. Samsung argued that patents were stifling innovation, that no one company should control basic features, that competition required copying, building on what came before. Both sides had a point. The verdict changed the industry. Companies became more careful. They designed around patents. They licensed technology. They built their own legal arsenals. The smartphone market shifted. Samsung paid Apple, but they also innovated. They developed their own designs, their own features, their own identity. The Galaxy line became distinct, successful, different from iPhone. Apple kept innovating too. New features, new designs, new patents. The legal victory gave them breathing room. But it didn't stop competition. The patent war had costs beyond money. Legal fees ran into hundreds of millions. Executive attention was diverted. Engineering resources were redirected. Both companies spent fortunes fighting instead of creating. Consumers paid too. Features were delayed. Products were banned. Prices were higher than they might have been. The legal system became a weapon in business strategy. The Apple-Samsung war wasn't unique. It was part of a larger pattern. Patent wars erupted across the tech industry. Google bought Motorola for its patent portfolio. Microsoft collected billions in Android licensing fees. Rockstar Consortium, backed by Apple and Microsoft, bought Nortel's patents for billions. Patents became assets, weapons, currency. Companies accumulated them, not to use, but to defend, to threaten, to negotiate. The system that was supposed to encourage innovation was being used to stifle it. Reform efforts began. The America Invents Act changed patent law. Courts raised the bar for what could be patented. The Patent Office improved its review process, but change was slow. The Apple-Samsung case went to the Supreme Court. They ruled on design patent damages, reduced Samsung's liability, but didn't end the war. Today, the two companies are both competitors and partners. Samsung still supplies Apple with components. They still compete in the smartphone market. They still hold grudges. The patent war taught lessons. Innovation needs protection. But patents can be weapons. The balance is delicate. The system is imperfect. So what should you take from this? First, Intellectual property matters. Apple's patents were valuable. They protected real innovation. They deserved compensation for copying. Second, the patent system needs reform. It's too easy to get vague patents, too expensive to challenge them, too profitable to litigate. The system encourages war, not innovation. Third, competition drives innovation. Samsung's copying forced Apple to keep improving. Apple's lawsuits forced Samsung to differentiate. The battle made both companies better. The $539 million verdict was just one battle in a longer war. A war that's still being fought. In courtrooms, in product design, in the market. If this revealed something you didn't know, subscribe. Because next week we're investigating another patent war. One that could affect your medicine cabinet. The battles are hidden, but they shape everything. This is Patent Wars, where we expose the legal battles that shape our digital lives.